When I first became an activist in 1970, it was the women that I met that really changed my life. They were people who showed up in a different way. They were like embodied compassion. Being with them was like looking through a keyhole at the world we were fighting for. And I just thought, I want to be like them. You know, I was a movie star already, but they were real, and they were different than any of the people that I had spent my life with, and I was 32 years old. So that was really when I feel my life began. I've been an environmentalist for most of my life. I had marched in protests and lobbied and things like that. One day about 5 years ago, there were the wildfires in California. The skies were brown orange. It was 112 degrees. And I read that birds were dropping dead out of the sky over New Mexico and Arizona because they had to find a new migratory route from Canada because the West Coast was on fire. I thought, what is happening? The world is changing, and I have a platform, and I'm not really using all that I have. I knew that I wanted to leave my comfort zone and move to Washington, D.C. and raise a ruckus about the climate crisis, because I saw very clearly what we had to do. It was in the fall of 2019, and I was moving to Washington, D.C. to work with Greenpeace to create this Fire Drill Friday rally. Every Friday we rallied in front of Congress and engaged in nonviolent civil disobedience and risked getting arrested. And the hardest part was that we were focusing on fossil fuels. You know, the fight against the climate crisis is like scissors. It requires two blades. It takes two blades to cut. One blade, the alternative green energy future, electric vehicles and solar panels and wind turbines and so forth. And that's absolutely critical, and that's one blade. The other blade is phasing out of fossil fuels. This doesn't mean turning the spigot off right away, but not doing any new fossil fuel development and phasing out of fossil fuels. That is what had to happen. Climate science says that we have to cut our fossil fuel emissions in half by 2030. This is what they said 12 years ago. We're running out of time. What happens in November, the elections in November, will determine what happens in the next 4 years. The end of those 4 years, we can't start doing what's right and get done in time. So we have to elect people to the presidency, to the Senate, to Congress, but also to mayors and city councils and boards of supervisors and county executives. The down ballot races are critical because that's where the robust work on climate is happening now. Take all of your anxiety about what's happening and bring it to the poll and vote for the climate champion. It's why I started a Jane Fonda Climate PAC to elect climate champions up and down the ballot. And you know, we've elected over 70 now. It's really good. All of us that are alive today are the first people, we are the first generation to experience the effects of the climate crisis. And we're the last generation that can do anything about it. We're the ones, we have a responsibility. And so that is why everything else that I care about, democracy, safety, economic equality, justice, all those things are going to be very, very hard to achieve if we don't have a stable climate.